Good morning. This is Angela. Today's a cup of tea. How many times have you seen the story of spiritual suffering and on spiritual progress through suffering? And how many times have we heard that, oh, the only way for spiritual enlightenment is through suffering? Wow, what a heavy load to carry. And through cultural expectations, through a whole bunch of different things, through the changing in energies, there may have been periods of times in the past where that was really true for what we could do here, but things have changed so significantly. And I talk so much about doing things with grace and ease and balance and harmony and joy. Well, we can do that. Well, now it's time to remember that we can do it however we choose to do it. Part of the lessons along the journey were to do certain things to be able to know that this was a certain kind of experience because of the feelings that we got with it. So therefore, then we would attach that whole suffering thing on the spiritual path. And I've had this debate so many times with others who have been doing this work for quite a period of time, and they've studied a whole bunch of different things. And I always say, well, that's fine. Whatever works for you works for you. If you truly believe and think it serves you that to continue on your path with suffering and pain, then that's your choice. But that's not my choice. And I have that choice. We all have that choice. There is a choice in everything we do. And I can't say it enough. I've said it so many times about how the understanding that I have is that the only absolute in this universe is love. Everything else has been made up. All the laws, all the rules, everything that we created them because we wanted these experiences and we're like getting done with them. So we're ready to resolve all that and get to the next level. And to do that, what we have to do is come to the realization that we have the option to not do it the way that we had set out in the beginning. So there are a couple of things, there are a lot of different facets that come with that. So, the biggest discussion is talking about moving forward without trauma, drama, and illness. And you hear that all the time that I say this on these webcasts, and these are my mantras. And whenever I work with somebody, those are my mantras. I always say, whenever we do clearings, without trauma, drama, and illness, without creating or recreating any situations for illustration, all with ease and grace and balance, harmony, and joy. And I always add, and fun, adventure, excitement, love, and humor, because I just love the upside of things. So sometimes then, what happens when we then still experience something that's a challenge to us? Something that sort of gets thrown up in our face that we might not consider to be of the highest grace and ease and balance and harmony. And that's when I get the question back going, well, I thought we set this to be with grace and ease and balance and harmony and joy. And I always say, yes, we did. And I've had that situation with myself over the last several years where I've had that set that way and something still came up that was, perceived as a challenging situation. And when I've gone back to Creator and asked that, I've heard that is relative grace and ease for your situation. But my understanding tends to be is that it would have been far worse had I not said it that way. Why then do we still have those situations pop up? Well, one of the biggest habits that we have gotten into, the egoic version of how the ego has ruled this dimension in our existence, in our experience, is that we get into boxes and we get into comfort zones. And when we get into comfort zones, we get into complacency. And many, 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 many times, when we're comfortable, even if we're not happy or particularly happy with the situation, we're very hesitant to get out of our box. So we're in this period right now of getting out of our box. Not only getting out of the box, but we're throwing out the boxes altogether. Incinerating them. They're all gone. And we are going back to the fact that we are divine and we have a choice of whatever experience we want to have. However, we have gotten into quite the habit of this complacency. So many times we have things set up for ourselves to learn. We want to learn certain things. We're still here. We're still on our paths. And in doing that progress and taking that progress, many times we have something that comes up that we need to clear, that it's important for us to clear so that we can move on. It's important for us to look at, for us to look on, for us to move on. However, if nothing comes up to cause us to look at it and cause that red flag, then many times we would miss it because of that habit of complacency. No matter how on the edge we are, no matter how without boxes we are, sometimes we just miss all. There's so many things coming into us. There are so many details. How many things, we are processing so much at the speed of thought right now. So if you have no red flags, then how do you know to look at it? And if it's really important for you on your spiritual progression and on your spiritual journey, then many times something has to happen in some respect for us to, just at this level, while we're still working with some form of the ego, to be able to notice it, to process it, and then to clear it and move on. When we set it to happen with grace and ease, even if it comes up as somewhat of a challenge, many times it's far, far, far smoother than had we allowed it to come through with trauma, drama, and illness. And it's far less dramatic because of that. However, because of the fact of us, not typically looking at stuff that doesn't, pull our attention right away, then we would possibly overlook it and miss that opportunity to take a leap forward versus, baby steps. So think about that. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. But many times I've asked this myself, and I've asked it 100 times if I've asked it once, and I get the same answer every time: is yes, you do have it set for grace and ease and balance and harmony and joy, and yes, that is the most grace and ease and balance and harmony and joy that you can accept, and still have that lesson in a positive light, and be able to jump forward from that lesson. So you have to look at that within context. It's really important to look at it within context, because out of context, many times you're like, oh my gosh, why is this so traumatic? What happened? What happened with my grace and ease? Well, yeah, the expression, it can always be worse. Yeah, that's what's really key here. So that's one really big, it's a really big message in our progress and on setting these things with ease and grace and balance and harmony and joy. And we can set it to do that, but it's just important, I'm getting to explain and have you understand that because there are some key events that we have planned within our experience that help us progress on our path in a very quick manner, we don't want to miss them. And in doing that, we have to set up, we do set up some red flags, even if it's with it's the largest or the most grace and ease that we can actually set it up with, and still look at it. So today's clearing is just to be able to set it up that way, to also, I'm hearing, resolve and clear out all the agreements that etheric binding agreements that we might have with others that require us to progress on our to believe that we have to progress on a spiritual path with trauma, drama, or illness, that the only way to do that is with trauma, drama, illness. And we need to it's time to get rid of that and have fun and grace and ease and a lot more joy with it, and have a lot, less of the downs and a lot less of many fewer of the challenging situations. So clear your mind. And of course, I'm going to put my little cosmic legalese up front, as one of my clients loves to call it. Would you like all the following without trauma, drama, and illness, without creating or recreating a situation for illustration or experience, and all with ease, grace, balance, harmony, joy, fun, excitement, adventure, love, and humor? And would you like this for all versions of you, all times, all places, into the ever-expanding universe, to infinity and beyond? To download any and all information from this clearing via instantaneous, comprehensive download with fully conscious understanding at the version of you and the timeline from which it is requested? And would you like all of Creator's truths and definitions and understandings, perspective, to replace your own for divine alignment? Okay, now we can move forward with that. So, would you like to resolve, dissolve, clear, and release any and all etheric binding agreements that that require you to suffer, that require you to have trauma, drama, or illness in order to progress on your spiritual path? And in that, get Creator's truth and understanding on why these agreements were created. And to bring forward any lessons that have still been yet to be processed, and just have them processed and downloaded. And to get Creator's truth and understand how it served you to have those agreements, and how it served the others in the agreement to have them, and how it will serve you all to be without these agreements. To pull all beliefs related to the agreement, including, I must suffer to spiritually advance. It must be painful to spiritually advance. There must be trauma, drama, or illness involved for me to spiritually advance. And from that also pull any and all resentments, anger, fears, anxieties, and any other related feelings related to those beliefs that come from those agreements, and these situations that arose from those agreements. To pull out the energy and memory of all of that from the cellular level, as well as any self-limiting thoughts, words, and actions that were caused by all of the above. Transform that to Creator's light, send them back to Creator. Close those receptors absolutely and permanently, and open new ones to saturate the cells with the highest vibration of Creator's unconditional love. To download the beliefs, I can spiritually progress with ease and grace and balance and harmony and joy. I'm allowed to spiritually progress that way. I'm allowed to spiritually progress with the minimal amount of challenge, but yet still be able to progress and process all of the lessons. And then also to download all the feelings related to that, and how that feels to do that, and to know that you're worthy, deserving, and able to do that, and that it's allowed, possible, okay, and safe to do that, and that you're ready, willing, and able to, and that you have that in your life right now. To write it off as a completed experience in the Akashic records, to clear the timelines, to heal, resolve, and clear the timelines in all directions, to infinity and beyond with the platinum and violet flames, and then to offer to all ancestors and descendants as they so choose to accept. So clear your mind, take a deep breath, and say, yes, grace, and ease. And that's it. Have a great one. We'll talk to you later in the week. This is Angela with today's Cup of Tea.